Hi everyone, welcome back to this week weekly market update. Once again, remember to join my Facebook page, remember to like, subscribe and like my YouTube link as well. So I will continue to work hard for you guys on the weekly video. Alright, so without further ado, let's see what happened on last Friday, basically just a day before. What happened to the market itself? We know that it's actually the start of the second quarter, end of the first quarter, with a bang of red colors of drop of 500 points on that day itself, all right, on the 31st of March. So on this yesterday itself, right, we can see that the Dow climbed more than 100 points, and it just stated that Wall Street begin the second quarter on a positive note. But I mean, if let's say you're not into the market, yes, it may be on a positive note, but take note, we dropped 500 points a day just before. So is that really a good positive side? To me, I'm still kind of skeptical on it. All right. So what happened on last Friday? We can see that it's an April Fool Day, but the market don't fool you. However, there's one that actually fool you. Might be the U.S. listed Chinese listed company in the US, right? US listed Chinese stocks. So they actually jumped on China report, consider sharing company audits. All right, and due to this news, right, many of the Chinese shares actually jump up, gap up when the market opened. Like Alibaba, JD, Baidu, Pinduoduo, this kind of big company itself. People who are more on the EV side, you can watch on Neil, Lee, this kind of company as well. All right, so will they actually fool the market because they have been released? This is the second good news coming out from the Chinese. Firstly, is they will step in, reduce their regulation. Right now, they report they consider sharing the company audits. So we'll look into the company individual chart itself, but definitely I won't go all. I will just go to the ETF which I've been mentioning, the KWEB. I will talk about it later. Why? Because it's kind of like testing and stressing if let's say you hold individual counter. Because if let's say you hold any seven of them and one bad news from the China regulation side, every of them will drop 30%. True or not? But you won't know that which one. If you want to participate in the Chinese listed company in US, right, you may just go to the ETF itself, all right, because that is the tech ETF. Most of the company is actually tech. All right, so that we will go through on that. So Thursday itself, market dropped 500 point. It's very volatile. Uh, One of the reasons is because the oil actually slide. We know that oil is actually at an all-time high. We also know that due to the Ukraine and Russian war, so it's very sensitive. However, due to that, right, our U.S. presidents actually mentioned to release 1 million barrel of oil per day from the reserve, help to cut the gas price. All right, I mean in short terms, it's good news. It really helped to cut. That's why there's a plunge of the oil price itself on Thursday. I shared in my Telegram group, I believe. Alright, so this is why uh, the drop of the oil itself. Alright, so this is the two news on Thursday itself, but there is just a short term cut lah. So we will see where it will go. Ultimately, the war is there. The only way is to lift up the sensations from Russia, everything back to original. The economy will then move. Otherwise, there will be a lot of hinder in betweens. Alright, so this is what happened on yesterday. Yesterday up 100 point. Good news is that the economy data, the non-farm payroll and the unemployment is showing a good sign. Even though it's just slightly lower, but it's still good. After all, it's that they add in 431,000 of payroll of jobs. Correct or not? So even though it's lower than the estimate, but it's not that bad after all. The market is still doing fine. Economy is still doing good. All right, because if let's say the market is bad, as a company, if you own a company, will you hire more workers coming in? Wouldn't, right? I mean, you will try to squeeze one worker. Am I right to say? So I mean, on this, it's kind of like positive side to me on this job release report. But the market didn't take into it. Why? Maybe because good news is actually bad news as well. If let's say it's too good, I think the 50 basis point to cut of the interest, the Fed rate, the Fed rate hike, not cut, the Fed rate hike will happens in May. All right, so that is the side. So US listed Chinese stock jump, and one only thing to watch out for is actually on the inverted yield curve as well. What do we mean by inverted yield curve? Inverted yield curve meaning to say the treasury yield rate, right? The 2 years is higher than the 10 years. All right, the 2 years is higher. Why is called inverted? Because you think about it. If today you put into a 10 years deposit, assuming you expect more returns, right? Because you are secured, you are putting in the lump sum for a 10 years period of time. You should have more money because it's 10 years. The 2 years should usually be lower, but however, I think that is the U rate. The U rate is actually has inverted itself. Let's take a look. Yes, so we can see that on Friday, the 10 years U was yielding at 2.37%, while the 2-year rate is on the 2.45%. So this is the inverted. Why people concerned of this inverted yield curve is because, right, when this inverted yield curve happened, all right, usually once it happens, it's the start of recessions. Usually, I mean, you look in the past data, right? It's the start of the recessions. All right, so that is why people concern the bond yields lah, because of the inflation rate, because of the recession. But take note, I think the last one that we have the inverted yield, right? Once it hit the inverted yield, all right, the market is not immediately in recession kick in. All right, it still take around almost 12 months for the whole equity market to kick in. All right, it's just a signal, but doesn't mean it's immediately impact on it. All right, so take note on the yield curve. Everyone is watching closely lah. So that is what happened on last week itself. So not only on that, so this coming week, what are we look out for? We are heading in the month of April. All right, April is historical best month of the year for stocks. Okay, so people who join my Telegram, right, you can see that I have mentioned a couple of stocks. I have give couple of calls previously, and most of them actually hit my target profit. All right, most of them actually hit my target. Coinbase hit, Gillette is still on the run, PayPal hit, KWEB hit, Facebook hit. Mostly all hit lah. Mostly, there is a miss. There's a one or two miss. Definitely, it's all about probability when you are doing trading, right? Cannot be one shot. Definitely hit all, right? So definitely on and off, there will be hit and off. But right now, right, you can see that there is not much call given because right now, based on the Dow Jones chart, you look at the day, right? It's kind of like we are actually at the ugly side. What do I mean by ugly side? At the conjunction, you're not sure whether to long or you're not sure whether to short. All right. If let's say it's at the bottom, which I mentioned 34,000, right? At the 34,000 or at this area, then it's a good support. I might consider to give some call. Right now at the top, I might wanted to give some short call, but overall, when you look at some chart, right, it's like they're bouncing up again because this is just breakup. So I mentioned on my last week video, people who have been watching it, I say that we are waiting for some mountain here before we see it come down. True or not? All right. So this is happen right now. What is happening? If it move up, all right, and then it come down. Can you see that or not? So why? Because at this area, 35,000 is one of the resistance. When you try to break above, right, it's a good news. So people thought that it's a rally lah. I mean, after all, we are just a small player out of the oceans. Correct or not? We are just one small fish out of the ocean. We must know how the market move, how the big player wants ultimately. All right. So if let's say you shorted here, it's too obvious. Correct or not? So right now, you shorted here is too obvious. Will the market, will the big player allow you to enjoy the money out there, the free money? We wouldn't know. So right now, the market on last Friday is kind of like positive, but ultimately he had not overtake this all-time high yet. All right, so I at this conjunction, right, unless there is certain stock that actually interests me a lot, then I will give a call. Like yesterday, I give one call again. It's on the Coinbase. We took profit previously. I give the call yesterday again. Why? It's because of the Bitcoin. We can see on the Bitcoin itself. All right, on the Bitcoin itself, I mean, you can choose any of the Bitcoin lah. All right, it's not very far apart. On the Bitcoin itself, this is what I mentioned. I'm waiting for some ding dong. The ding dong didn't go that below. All right, it didn't go that below. It ding dong at this place area right now. Okay, so what happens on Bitcoin, right? We can see that the major target, the major resistance we are looking at is actually the 50,000. All right, this is the major. All right, this is the major resistance. All right, so we just cut every 5,000 a point. So right now we cut 5,000 a point. So it's 45,000. Can you see that this 45,000 used to be a resistance, right? Right now turns support. All right, right now turns support. So yesterday I see that it might have a good support here. That's why I give a call on Coinbase. But on the Coinbase itself, right, the bid is not a lot. I'm not sure will it hit or not. All right, the risk reward is 1:1, which I give almost 1:1. Mainly, firstly, I myself believe that it might actually hit the 50,000 before we see the next decisions moment, the first 50,000 before we see the next 50 decisions movement. So therefore, right, when we look at Coinbase, today is a bit jump here and there. I just have some recap here and there. Uh, we can see that right now Coinbase, after it broke the $205, used to be a strong support here, good resistance. We actually touches the resistance again. Correct. We actually touched the resistance again. Then we, by right, have to short here because it used to be a support and resistance. But I give a call right now is because the BTC, the Bitcoin actually have some small rally, which I mentioned. So, and then it's actually supported right now by these two moving average at this point of time. So I give you a call. I find that 160 must be a good support. Firstly, we just invert, shoulder, head. It might be some shoulder here. All right, that's why I give you a call. I see how it goes. I mean, I just put a small amount. I'm not dumping the whole war chest inside. So I give you a call. I see how it happened over the next week. People who want to be on the safe side definitely have to overtake this previous support right now, turn resistance. Have to overtake the 220, 210, 220 area, all right, before it can continue to go higher. This is called breakout play. I'm calling a limit order buy. I'm buying at the bottom price lah. All right, so there's two different playing. People who bought at the bottom price, you have more mid to go. People bought at the breakout, you have less mid to go. It's either one, but the probability of the breakout is higher. That means it will go even higher if it break out. All right, so it's up to you what kind of play style you want. So that is why I give the call on Coinbase last night. All right, so what to look out for? This is the job. So market used to be good on April, like I mentioned again. So people are waiting on the news of what happened to the Ukraine Russia, where they actually peace out. And lastly is the May Fed. All right, so right now Treasury yield curve inverted could signal a recession, which I just mentioned. So let's drop it. Let's move into the chart right now. All right, move into the chart right now. So for just put Nasdaq, Dow Jones, S&P. We are right now at the, like I said, all right, at the ugly side lah, at the conjunction side. So for Nasdaq itself, right, we can see that this is what I draw up previously, 20 March. All right, this is 20 March. I say watch out for this level. 20 March, where are we? Okay, we are here. Okay, we are here. 20 March, I mentioned that watch out for this level, 14,200. All right, which is somewhere here. This line, which is concurrent with 78.6% Fibonacci. Second level, 14,500 is somewhere here. Can you see we're very near to this resistance as well. So it touch. I didn't draw this. All right, this draw 20 March. I didn't draw this. So it touches here again and you recover. I mean, it's very obvious. You want to see whether I draw or not, you go see my 20 March video is at the YouTube. All right, just to prove that I didn't draw. All right, that's why I didn't have any update. You can see this is draw since here. So it actually touches and then it come down. So right now we are at this side. It's kind of like in between it don't give you a clear cut answer. That's why the call don't come in that much, of course. And one more thing, April tend to be a good month. Am I right to say? So for it to drop, right, will it drop all the way here and then it rebounds back? If yes, please do it within the first week. All right, first week of this coming April, please do it. 1-5 candlestick hit here, and that is where you should long. All right, the news, I mean, that is the signal given to you lah. So please, hopefully, if you drop faster a bit, so we can pick up from here. Correct? I mean, we have a much more risk reward over here. But April tend to be a good month. Things to watch out is actually on the earnings report coming on May. Why? Not to forget, we are just 1 month away from sell on May, right? And go away. True or not? So April tend to be a good month. We wait for a quick drop, go up, ding dong here, and then we sell it off. Because why? There might be a fake breakout scenario. People think that the economy is very good. We won't know. All right, so this is the first impact we are looking at. So sorry, I just draw a line. So this is the next resistance we are looking at. Once it's breakout, 15,300 there, all right, is where you should watch out for. Recently I mentioned 14,800, right? Yes, this used to be a resistance, but just to be more want to fake more, correct or not? They want to lie to the market, lie more. So we are looking at 15,300. If you break above, then it's a good news. Otherwise, if it resisted, this all move up might be a fake breakout. All right, that's why I'm monitoring closely. People who just want to stay away, you guys can just stay aside lah, and take a rest first. Then we see how the market move. All right, right now we are this conjunction. It's hard to trade. But however, hard to trade doesn't mean cannot trade. True or not? Hard to trade doesn't mean cannot trade. Okay, so let's recap on what happened last week. I mentioned again, we moved into the Singapore market. Am I right to say? So for the Singapore market, right? First of all, we look at STI, Singapore Straits Time Index. Right now, we are like forming a mountain. We are forming a mountain. But overall, I kind of like it. Why? Because of the, like I said, the news release, border reopen, Singapore reopen, is kind of like good to me. So right now we can see on the weekly. Last time I used to say that in STI, right, we put 3,000 as a midline. We put 3,000 as a midline. All right, 3,000 as a midline. Then 2005 is a good line. Okay, 2005 is a good line. After that, 3005 is a resistance line. Okay, this is what we are looking. I've been working in this line for quite long lah, alright? So I've been mentioning to my friends, to the peers that I have, 2005 is where you should pick it up lah. 2005 you should pick it up. I pick it up here. I recommend my man pick it up here. My peers pick it up here. So right now we are at the resistance side. Sure, since 2009 recession come back, where do you see it break 2005? Only some fake breakdown, right? I mean, the COVID reasons, recession is where best for you to pick it up, correct or not? So 1, 2, 3, good support. 1, 2, 3, good resistance. But right now we are at a resistance side. Will this resistance break off or not? This is up to you to decide. For me, I think highly yes. But for people who want to long here, this is the risk you are taking. Can you imagine that? Alright, people who want to long here, this is the risk you are taking. So don't anyhow go into it unless you are going to selective counter, which I mentioned, right? I put my head on the table last week. Correct not? What do I mention? Go watch my last week video if you haven't. I said in my Facebook page, I said must watch of this counter SIA Engineering. It's very I write a wrong one since 27 April. Right? I even post this page, taken this screenshot, post in my Facebook page, upload in my Telegram. A lot of things lah. I say that it will recover. All right, I give a strong promise. Our first target we are looking is actually at this $2.90 over here. Just recap lah. I mean, you guys just read it again if you want to. All right, we are looking at the first resistance level at 38.2%. All right, close above, we will be seeing $3 next. So $3 is here lah. All right, 38.2%. See that not? So what happened just a week ago? This is last week, right? So this week happened. One up candle. Up how many percent? 5%, 4.5%. All right, 4.5%. Will there be any pullback or not? I wouldn't know. I don't have crystal ball, like I say. People who are waiting for pullback, like last week, right? Yeah, you miss out this chunk of 4.5%. If let's say next week it happen to go up again, then you miss again. But to me, I personally feel that this counter can be slightly mid to long term. That's why I entered immediately, which I mentioned last week. So I will continue to hold here lah. This is what I shared. People who never captured on this, watch the last week video, then recap. Just drag to the area, to this area, and listen to me at this area will do. Can we see last week volume? It spiked really high itself. Really high itself. Okay, so why this is all related to the travel sector, because border reopen, right? So for another counter which I mentioned is SATS. This one doesn't perfect that well a lot breakout, but it's showing some good sign as well lah. So it closed above 1.18%. Decent volume above the previous week. Why? Because we are at the resistance level. Only after this level successfully break above, right, then we will see the first two target coming out. All right, so this is what happened. Continue to hold on this counter if you are inside it. I'm still biased on the upside. Next counter which I mentioned, this is slightly slower movement. All right, this is slightly is a Thai beverage, slow movement, but doesn't mean don't move. Okay, we are actually at a symmetrical triangle. Last week candle is above, but I don't count this as above really unless you show a green color spike. Then I will go into it. I mean, I will then give a strong signal that it's a bullish sign. All right, right now we are still at the conjunction, but I'm biased on the upside as well for this counter lah. So this is that's all for this week. So fast we touched 20 minutes again. So hopefully you guys to stay tuned with me on my Telegram. hardly post doesn't mean I'm not in the market. I'm still in the market. It's just that I want to give a more secured call if possible. All right, I don't want to go into a small profit because I might react, but I might be slow over here. True or not? So I want everyone to react together. All right, so that is the only counter. Lastly, so sorry guys. Lastly, one of the counter which I mentioned in my private Telegram group. There's some counter which I miss it. There's counter is still running. So since this has happened, this is Craft. Give it a call. Last I don't know when 2 weeks or last week ago. Give her a call somewhere. We actually entered in lah. We are still holding. Our first target is actually $44 around here, 44, 45 lah. So hopefully Craft continue. This used to be Warren Buffett darling lah. All right, and some things happen here. It dropped, so we revisit again. You break, all right. The head and shoulder seems like break above, touch back, support and resistance. Right now it continue right lah. So right now I'm waiting for it to continue. I don't know where will it hit, but hopefully it will hit somewhere along this line lah. After that you hit 45, then we can see even a more uptrend. But this take a while to ride, but I'm totally fine, right? I mean, like I say, I don't enter in today, enter out tomorrow. All right, so I will continue to hold on this counter. People who actually in my private group hold on to it, continue to hold on to it lah. All right, so that's all for this week weekly market update. Thank you everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Hopefully remember to share this video out as well. Bye bye.